The Swans going in without Ironmonger, Carroll and Williams. So into the side for the Swans come Quirk, Scott and Browning. Essendon, we're told, will line up with the 20 as named. Kevin Bartlett, great feeling here, terrific atmosphere, and I think we all feel that we might see one of the really big ones of the season so far.
Well, Tim, I think prior to the round, we all expected that this game was going to be the match of the round. I'm certain it is going to be. Of course, you mentioned Williams being out and Ironmonger and Carroll. That takes a little bit away from the contest, because I suppose with Williams being out, the person who makes all the play for the Sydney Swans, it would weaken the side. But there's some other great clashes. Certainly in the ruck, Madden, after his magnificent performance for Victoria, he has to now come up against Michael Byrne. Henwood and Merritt, I feel, is going to be a very strong clash. Henwood was playing very well for WA until he was injured, and they're both tough players, so that's going to be an interesting one. And also, just on that WA interstate match, I think that Henwood and Neagle also must be a little bit suspect today with their fitness, simply because both those players had to leave the ground at different stages. And of course, Paul Salmon, 20 goals in the last 2 games that we've seen him play, 9 against Richmond, 11 against the West Coast Eagles. And he comes up against Rod Carter, who's famous for not getting or letting his opponent have a kick. That should be a terrific tussle. And if Carter can hold Salmon, of course, he's going to do a terrific job, and certainly helping the Swans maybe pull off an upset win, because I do believe that the feeling here today is that Essendon, they're on a high. They've got their good players back playing well. A lot of good players still in the reserves, but here today, I think most people expect the Bombers to win.
Here we go. Ian Robinson, as you've seen, is officiating. With him is Shane McDonald, and one of the biggest matches of the season so far. The Swans and the Bombers gets underway at the SCG, and here's Doug Hayward to start the commentary.
And Burns on the ball. Interesting to see that Carter's on Salmon, and Terry Danaher has opened on half-forward flanker Tony Morwood, which indicates the respect they feel for him. Here's the best ruckman in the game. No, it's not. I thought it was Madden. It's Merritt. Merritt drives a pass out wide, and a great interception and a very strong mark is taken in the back pocket there by Murphy. Murphy's almost half-back flank as he steadies and boots it out wide. Francis has it punched away from him. Chance. Hand pass comes out wide to Hurd. Hurd then steadies himself, has lots and lots of time, then kicks it long downfield. Salmon's the target. In front goes Cordy. Cordy can't take it, and ball falls to ground, and umpire's whistle blows to indicate bounce.
And no doubt, Doug, that Tom Hafey's instructions will be for Neil Cordy that not to let Salmon and Carter to stand there and contest marks, and for him to come over the back and punch the ball away.
30 metres from the Bombers' goal. Spencer to Salmon was great. He was well contained. Holden a hurried kick. Isn't he a form player? Francis with one hand. Was held by the other by Murphy, and Francis takes a free kick 60 metres from goal. Even in the perfect conditions, I think he might just be too far out to score, but he'll get close, and Salmon's up there. Fall short, and the forwards weren't really in good position. It wasn't a good kick for them, and Tui taking a solid mark in the last line.
Interstate player, no nonsense player is Tui, very tough. Madden's in good position over the back. It's nicely taken there. Right in centre wing by Keane, I think. No, Trevor Spencer. Trevor Spencer down looking for Salmon. Not a good one. Byrne takes the mark, and Byrne, as expected, has opened on the ball as John Ironmonger and Coleman both out injured.
So a big test for Byrne, and if he performs well, it could be a real bonus for the Swans. To half-back, Salmon from behind with the fist. Healy off the ground, but straight to Hawker. Danaher now on the centre line. Nice delivery to Keane, forward of centre. Chip pass for Salmon. Caught behind Carter, well played by the fullback, who wins a free kick. Interfered with by the Giant from behind. And isn't this going to be a battle royal between the vigorous Carter and the tall and skillful Salmon?
Yes, Rod Carter, the mean machine, a very tough player. Nice mark taken the centre of the pack there, which is beautifully done by Morwood, whose opponent, as I mentioned earlier, is the Essendon captain, Danaher. Morwood downfield. Kevin Walsh tries to punch it down. Simon Madden in lots of trouble. Pass got it, goes Bays out to Wright. Wright pauses on the 50-metre mark, kicks in the Kappa direction. Kappa in front, a great ball by Winton, and out wide it goes, and well picked up there by Johnston. Johnston kicks to open territory and kicks it very wisely, bounces it over the line, out of bounds. He had no teammate to kick it to in centre wing position.
Interesting, some of the moves. Kevin Sheedy has Nobby Clark on to Hawke. Also Shane Hurd is tagging Jared Healy, and Bomber Thompson is on Stevie Wright. So obviously those small players of the Swans, Shooty has decided to make certain they've got an opponent most of the day.
Good tackling by the Bombers. First Hurd bringing down Healy, and then Murphy also very closely attended. The throw in is towards the Swans half-forward flank. Madden winning beautifully. Keane cleverly, nicely to Bomber Thompson, but a free kick throw, was it? Didn't see the umpire's indication. Free kick to the Swans, to Tony Morwood, who will kick from about 50 metres out and could just about do it. In fact, he believes he can. He's having a shot. It should be the first score of the match. It's not. Neagle should certainly kick the first score from 45 metres out directly in front. 4 minutes 20 gone. Feeling out period. A couple of the heavyweights of the comp. And Merv Neagle, Bomber Premiership player, hoping to be a Swans Premiership player this year. Just missed, clipped the post. The crowd going up in anticipation. The first score is a minor.
And Mervyn Neagle be very keen to play well against his old team, which he played with such distinction against. Mauld was the leaper. He's on the ground fighting for it. There's lots of fighting going on for it. But the umpire decides to bounce it. It's on the outer half-forward flank with the Swans still in attack.
And 5 minutes down. Madden backhanding it nicely. High tackle, free kick to the Swans. No advantage. The ball will come back to Neagle. I think the umpire feeling that to play it on was not necessarily to the Swans' advantage. And so he'll bring it back and give them the chance to take the free kick. A lot of argument as to whether perhaps a free kick should be just that. Hand pass is not allowed. I think it would be really open to exploitation. The professional free kick might become a regular occurrence. Neagle wide to Kappa. Only had half a metre on Winton, but that was enough. Good delivery, good lead, good mark. And Kappa will kick from close to 50 metres out. He's marked it inside 45, but when he kicks, giving himself space from the man on the mark, it won't be too far short of 50. He's on 73 for the year, 12 behind Tony Lockett. Don't think he'll peg him back today. Lovely long kick. Hasn't got the direction. Second behind to the Swans. They're the only two scores of the match after 6 minutes.
Little short one. And very long to the centre of the ground. Tui's in good position behind, can't hold it. Umpires found a free kick. Glenn Hawker. Hawker in the Salmon direction, Salmon and Carter's in front. Almost took a good one. Salmon recovers nicely. Out towards centre wing it goes. Good effort by Keane. Keane hooks it back downfield. Cunningham's the leaper. In front, it was almost taken away from him. And there's a wild melee of players, and the umpires clear it with a free kick, and it's going to go to the Swans. Mitchell quickly out to Holden. Holden is off.
Redirects play to the far side of the ground, and Hamilton beats Neagle. Good tackling, Neagle. Francis. Murphy, the tackler. Good tackle, wins the free kick. No, play on. I thought that earned the free kick. Hamilton well tackled too, and it's a hard tackling, tough game in the early part. And we'll see a ball up on the half-forward flank for the Bombers.
Definitely a great tackle by David Murphy. He should have been paid that free kick.
Wide out on the 50-metre mark. Byrne on the ball. Murphy fights for it. Out to Mitchell. Mitchell then sent it down towards centre wing position. Simon Madden was the leaper, unsuccessful. And the tangle of arms down, arms and legs and players on the ground. And umpire once again comes in, indicates he'll bounce.
Eight minutes down. Still not a goal kicked. The Swans 2 behinds. Essendon scoreless. Madden winning, as he has done virtually at every ball up, but not effective that time. And now he'll contest at the throw-in. It's about 10 metres the Swans attacking side of the wing.
Kevin Shooty, who so easily could have been coach of this side if he'd wished to, got a huge offer, rejected, saying His pal Tom Hafey has taken it over the line with a tackle there. Nobby Clark was underneath it all, and Bayes was the tackler, but it's out of bounds. It's tough football, worthy of two top sides. Bayes goes up with Madden. Madden downfield towards the centre of the ground. Underneath it, almost taken by Thripp. Bolton fights for it. Nice hand pass, Byrne, very quickly out. Scott downfield, Kappa in front. Very, very strong mark. And if there's one facet of Kappa's play that is often underestimated, it's the strength. He's a magnificent flyer, but time and time again this year, we've seen him out-possession, out-strength opponents, and Kappa's going to come in now, and from only about 15 to 20 metres out, has got the chance to kick his 74th goal for the season, which he did very well. And Warwick Kappa, who's averaged 4.5 goals per match this season, if he maintains that average, will kick his 100th goal in the last game of the season.
Well, you're right, Doug. It's one attribute of Warwick Kappa's game that people do overlook, and that's his strength. And there's Scott, who has taken over, of course, from Greg Williams in the centre. And he is a magnificent user of the ball, Scott. And a very, very strong mark. Look at the body work here of Kappa, who just leant into Sugar Winton there. Very good, strong mark, and he can be a team lifter today, because with Carroll being out and also Williams, if he can really start to grab a few goals, the Sydney crowd will get right behind the Swans. His 250th goal in league football too, Warwick Kappa.
A landmark, and a landmark day for Brett Scott as he lines up in the 18, I think, for the first time on the comeback trail. He has been in the 20 before this. Keane on the wrong boot, kicking in a hurry, not doing anything effective. Murphy first there, blistering pace. Now Henwood just behind the wing. Suspect player going into this match after the interstate game. Good tackle, Izard, bringing Murphy down. Holding the ball decision. Swans free kick, says umpire Robinson. And now play on as the indication. And the Sydney Siders leading 8-0 are into attack again. But Hamilton, fine mark, just behind the centre. Elshaw to half forward. Not well placed though, nothing there for him at all. And Carter bursts out of defence in great style. Now Scott. Through the middle of the ground go the Swans. Hamilton is paid the mark, second bite, just behind the centre line, and the crowd hooting, saying he didn't have enough of that ball to really earn the mark.
That's his second fine mark, Paul Hamilton. Downfield he goes. Roger Merritt late on the scene with a wild swing at it. Cunningham comes in. He's very well shepherded, forced onto his wrong foot. Good hand pass it is. In trouble is Spencer. Turns and left foots it badly, and is lucky that it just gets through beside the behind post, and that's a point.
And the Bombers' first score took 11 minutes and 20 seconds, and there's one good reason why it took so long. He's been terrific so far, but there's a long way to go in this match. Kicks long, looking for Cordy out at half-back. Francis up against him. Away go the Swans again. Murphy, lovely looking kick. Morwood from behind, a gem. Had the run at it from behind the Essendon skipper and made the most of it. Good pass, Scott. 35 metres out directly in front, and as Kevin said a moment ago, a player who uses the ball beautifully. He'd love to wrap his hands around that in the early part of this match. Played a part in setting it up for Kappa a moment ago, and now a chance to go one better and kick one for himself. Got a good view of it. And Scott likes the view too. He split the middle. The Swans' second goal. And they lead 14-1 at the 12.5-minute mark.
And what a great opening by the Swans, who are going in very hard in that running game, even without Greg Williams. Already we've seen Mitchell and in particular Murphy on his wing playing on Francis, getting the ball and driving it forward. And of course Brett Scott's been responsible for the last 2 goals for the Swans, hitting Warwick Kappa with a long kick, and that time kicking one himself. So he's giving Glenn Hawker, the Bombers' best and fairest winner of last year, a bit of a torrid opening in this first quarter.
Filling in wonderfully for Greg Williams, of course, too. Lightning one from Mitchell out to Henwood. Henwood down towards that full forward zone, and a tumbling one is an absolute beauty that time. Taken there by Thripp.
Healy, I think.
Greg Healy it is, too. A beautiful mark it was. And if ever that one was taken under pressure, it was Gerard Healy. one of the fine kicks of the side. He's only about 25 to 30 metres out from goal. Healy comes in, shoots for goal. It wasn't a very authoritative kick, but it was straight enough and he was close enough to get away with it. And they've got away to a wonderful start of the Swans, 3-2 to 1 behind.
Well, Shane Hurd, I think we've spoke about it, Doug, possibly the best tagger in VFL football. He's got the job on, Jared Healy.
What a great mark, Kev.
Yes, it was fabulous because he's very, very strong, Shane Hurd. I think Kevin Sheedy suggests that he's the strongest player down at Essendon. He's done a tremendous number of weights in the speed ball, and for Healy then to judge that and actually outbody him certainly was a fine mark.
And a fine start by the Swans, going in the underdogs. Surprising given their position on the ladder, but without top players, it looked tough for them, but they've responded to the challenge superbly in the early part. Now the Bombers into attack. Cordy holding them up. Henwood in there too, but Merritt with brute strength. Brilliantly done to Izard, but well tackled and brought down by Tui. Not well tackled. Free kick. Well, a replay of that will be very interesting. Certainly he seemed to have it when Tui first tackled him.
Well, it seemed to me, Tim, that he tried to turn Izard, not just crash into his back. So there was a definite attempt to turn the player with the ball. And I feel if that happens, it shouldn't be in the back. If the attempt is when you tackle and you turn the player, so it'd be interesting to see that again.
First goal for the Bombers, or is it? Yes, it is. They needed it. It took almost 15 minutes. They trail by 13 points. They've been jumped by the home team, but courtesy of a free kick to Alan Izard, they get there first, and here it is.
Roger Merritt there with a long left-hand hand pass. Let's have a look. Now, I don't think that was in the back. I think that was a pretty fair tackle. You could see he held him up. He didn't actually crash straight into his back. And I think under those circumstances that you couldn't tackle any better from that particular position. So a bit stiff for the Swans then.
It's very interesting to see Mark Bayes at centre-half forward. His opponent is Walsh. Byrne doing very well. Mitchell again over the back, and Terry Danaher takes a good running mark onto Walsh. Walsh has got time, but he better hurry. Left foot to down, and Peter Francis in great position. Over the back it comes, and Simon Madden's there to Shepherd. Picked up by Hawker. Hawker drives it looking for Salmon. Henwood in front. Intercepts very cleverly. Henwood has played so well. Gets it out towards half-back flank, and Holden's got the chance. Twists it back and kicks it back to Bolton. Bolton can go on with it. Tucks the ball under his arm. Drives it downfield looking for Stephen Wright. Wright's with the ball. Very clever to Healy. Healy long down in the Kappa direction. Kappa and Winton. Kappa will win it. Winton was looking at Kappa. Overconscious of his opponent. And Kappa with splendid judgment. Very cool. Just watch Winton have a look at him. And Kappa came in beautifully and takes a splendid mark and will kick his second goal, and has started particularly well. And
David Murphy is being carried off the ground by two trainers, so there's a huge blow to the Swans, and Mark Browning is about to come on.
Here's Warwick Kappa. Incidentally, Browning led the team onto the ground today with the captain Dennis Carroll out, and Kappa's second goal. But as KB said, what a cruel blow it is to lose David Murphy, who's been one of the Swans' stars for the season.
It's interesting here, as you mentioned, Doug, terrific hands there by Stephen Wright and Jared Healy, who's so quick to sum up a situation. This long kick, and of course Sugar Winton never once got body contact to Warwick Kappa then, and it's impossible to keep a player out if you can't get body contact, even if it's only putting out an arm. And that's where, unfortunately, for Sugar Winton, Kappa was able then to take the break, and he's coming off the ground now, Brian Winton, and Billy Duckworth, who played for WA in the State of Origin match, is going to come onto the ground.
That's pretty quick, Kevin.
Well, maybe the instructions by Sheedy might have been to hang on to Warwick Kappa and make certain he isn't able to take those marks by himself uncontested.
He's moved Roger Merritt onto him, incidentally, onto Kappa.
Burn the thump, but straight to Walsh. Second time lucky, almost for Kevin Walsh. At least he got it to Duckworth. Well played, Duckworth. Back to Walsh. High kick. Salmon getting under it. Shielding eyes from the sun. Swans defence great so far. Keane with the left boot. Misses. Hooked it too far. And the Bombers get their second behind. They trail by 18 points after 18 minutes of play.
Well, it's fascinating to see Roger Merritt at full back on Warwick Kappa.
Particularly, Doug, when Salmon at full forward and Merritt at centre-half forward has been very strong for the the Dons, and to make that move so early in the game, I'm certain Sheedy wouldn't have been thinking about that prior to the start.
Yes, it just does indicate he's tremendously conscious of the brilliance of Kappa. And Mark Browning, who served this club with such distinction for so long, was originally on interchange bench, did lead the club onto the ground today, now takes a free kick on the half-back flank, and the long-kicking left-footer drives it very long down looking for Tony Morwood. Over the back it comes and picked up by Hamilton, being a good player. Stephen White underneath it, it's awkward, and takes it. Just held it long enough.
What a courage.
Right, the star of last week's performance for them. Left foots it back, and Tony Morwood goes up and takes it. He's positioned himself absolutely superbly in the last few moments. His first mark was a gem, and that one again into perfect position, wonderful judgment, and Morwood's on the impossible angle. His opponent only a few metres from goal as Morwood comes in, shoots for goal. Right across the face of goal it went, just made it for one behind.
It was a bad miss.
Pretty tough one though, Kev.
Oh,
you would have run around on the left foot, would you?
I feel that a player of his experience should have really kicked the goal from there. I mean, he didn't just miss, Doug.
Never looked balanced. He looked as if he tried to poke it through from an unbalanced position. Now Johnston out on the half-back flank. Kicks to Cunningham on the wing. Didn't carry to him. Bolton in his path. A couple of tough nuts. Mitchell to Tui, but intercepted. Thompson, Hurd, forward of the centre. Where's Salmon? He's leading. He's got it. Beautiful pass. And nothing Carter could do about that. And Salmon lines them up from just outside 50 metres. And yet, in the full forward stakes, it's been Kappa so far, admittedly from more opportunities, but he's made the most of every one. Salmon kicks from on the 50-metre line. It's way offline. He got very close to the man on the mark, made an awful mess of it, missed the lot. Free kick to the Swans in the back pocket.
And I think I can see Rod Carter smiling from here.
He really tried to kick it out of the ground that time. He put everything into it. Umpire Ian Robinson, the most experienced umpire in the game, says go back. Bernard Tui, have it again. Kicks it into the man on the mark. Chance for Bolton. Caught. Hand passes over the line out of bounds.
So still the Bombers deep in attack. 21 minutes gone first term. The Swans, the underdogs, although third on the ladder, leading 27-8. They've made a great start. Tui up and down in the one spot. Thompson brought down, and a ball up, says umpire Robinson. And now comes in to pour some cool water on the frayed temper of Henwood, who comes out of it with a free kick. Duckworth was also in the action there, and perhaps he was the offender, circumstantial evidence. But Billy is inclined to rough it up a little bit. Henwood's kick is well marked by Walsh on the centre line, and the Bombers to go back into attack. Good hand pass. Clark towards Salmon again. At the back, easy for Izard, who's kicked Essendon's only goal so far, and should certainly kick their second from 15 metres out, as Robinson again has to pour the cool water. And the red-haired rover, absolutely unconcerned about events behind him, now sizes it up face on and should boot the Bombers second and cut the margin to 13 points. He's done that. 2 out of 2 to Alan Izard, and the Bombers edge their way back at the 22-minute mark.
Well, we've seen Craig Holden play some great games for the Swans in recent weeks, and also was one of the best for WA in the interstate match. He's got the job of picking up on Izard. His first goal, of course, I felt was a lucky one when he tackled him, but certainly that was just good judgment there by the little rover, and 2 goals. He certainly would have Craig Holden a little bit concerned.
He's kicked 32 goals for the season, just behind Salmon at 34. Mitchell boots them into attack again. Not a good effort there by Cunningham. Might have been a free kick to Hawke. Cleverly out to Bays. He's on to Healy. Look out, your tackle by Hurd, and beats Hurd. Steadies from about 50 metres out from goal. Down it goes in the Kappa Merritt direction, and it's pushed through. It'll be very interesting to see.
Free kick here, Doug, incidentally, no score.
Whether Roger Merritt gets the tough stuff into Warwick Kappa, and how Kappa withstands it, because he's got a very tough opponent now. Out from Danaher to Madden, and Madden takes the sword.
He's right back to his best. And you wouldn't believe there was talk early in the season that his days might be numbered. And he mightn't have a league game left in him. He's got plenty left in him. Thompson now, 15 metres as well, brings him almost to the centre. Goes for Izard, who's a leaper on the half-forward line. Healy, who's superb so far. Mitchell to Henwood. Good tackle, Francis. Hawke pushed by Clark. Fair, says the umpire. The Swans gained 20 metres. Thompson took a long time. Now Francis. Keane now from the flank. Long, too long for Salmon, but well taken by Izard, who is the Essendon forward line in this first quarter, and delivers nicely to Cunningham, who could kick it from 40 metres out, almost directly in front.
Craig Holden was a good 30 metres away from Alan Izard then.
Probably the smallest player on the ground, Alan Izard, and takes so many wonderful marks.
Left footer is Cunningham, should kick a goal from here. He's done it. The Bombers get their third. Suddenly the margin back to 7 points at the 24.5-minute mark. And after being comprehensively outplayed in the first 15 minutes, the Bombers have done well to be virtually unscathed at this point in the match.
There's Alan Izard taking that mark, and you're right, Doug, he gets up a couple of, 2 years ago, he took the mark of the year over the top of Justin Madden out at VFL Park. Certainly he can fly for the ball, and he's being a constant danger down there, and Bolton now has been moved down onto Alan Izard, and Craig Holden is going up onto the wing.
Down from Hawker. Salmon is in great position. Well, he turned round a full circle that time. It was quite extraordinary. He started to run with the flight of the ball, then turned around and took a chest on Rod Carter. This is the last part of it. Rod Carter was completely unsighted, and Salmon takes an excellent mark, and this is one that he should goal from. His last shot, he really tried to kick the ball 100 yards and kicked it badly, and he overstretched himself, this time only about 25 to 30 metres from goal, shoots for goal. And that's a fine-looking kick, and the Bombers are doing very well, as the Swans opened in wonderful fashion early, but now they're getting back to 4-3 to 4-2.
Spencer went through very hard, and Hawker with that quick kick, and just better judgment that time by Salmon. And he looks always a danger down there, and of course with Izard parked right next to him in that forward pocket, just playing up in front of him at the moment, they've got a pretty good setup down there with the height and the smallness of Izard.
So after 26 minutes, they're virtually as they were when they started. Burn in there for the Swans, but a ball up is the call from umpire Robinson. Couldn't have had a better start to it. In perfect conditions, big crowd at the SCG. The crowd experts predicting something around 30,000. We mightn't quite have that, but it's quite a sight, and a great football stadium in fine weather and when it's well populated. The third ball up, close to the centre circle in the space of about 30 seconds. Sydney 27, Essendon 26. Kappa has 2 for the Swans, and Izard 2 for Essendon. But Salmon looks as if he might be starting to roll. Burn with the bloodied nose doing the ruck work for the Swans. Now Neagle. Got a bad bounce off the cricket pitch turf, but Browning from 50 metres could kick it. Lovely long goal. He's poetry when he's going. No one does it better. And the Swans lead by 7 points at the 27-minute mark.
Well, Merv Neagle, premiership player with the Bombers, breaking away, giving it to Mark, whose kicking hasn't been as good in recent weeks as has been over most of his career. Which you mentioned before about Simon Madden, where some people felt that he might have been near the end of his career. Well, there's been a lot of people who have suggested that Mark Browning is on very thin ice, and this could be his last year. Maybe he's out to prove a few people wrong today, being a last-minute inclusion.
Yes, playing his 245th game. Simon Madden taken over the last 10 minutes. Scott tries to come through, running into trouble with Holden. Byrne trying for it desperately, so Spencer. Down it goes from Spencer again. Thompson strong, very clever to Duckworth. Duckworth out nicely to Elshaw. His kick is to Izard. Izard tackled nicely by Bolton. Mitchell's with it. Mitchell drives it out long. Bays goes to the ground. Over the back, Simon Madden comes in for assistance, but it's the captain, Danaher, out to Cunningham. Cunningham then spears one downfield. It's a good-looking pass to Izzard. Izzard off the ground. Browning fights for it. Over the boundary line it goes. Towards the boundary line it goes. Picked up by Bolton. Bolton downfield. Down goes Henwood and take a free kick.
Elshaw doesn't like it, says I didn't get into his back. Mitchell takes the hand pass. Gets himself into trouble and the Bombers could pounce. Keane first there. But at the back, Holden, who made a terrible start to the match. Taken apart by Izzard. Byrne, almost in the centre circle. Fiddles. Gets it off. Henwood, board of the centre. A late goal perhaps for the Swans. Kappa. Good spoil by Merritt. Great stuff. Right. Hooks it too far. And the Swans lead by 8 points at the 29-minute mark of the first term.
Well, 8-1 last week to Stevie, so he's kicked the one this week. Maybe there's 8 to come.
Be interesting to watch this battle. Roger Merritt has given away more free kicks throughout the season than anybody else in the VFL, which isn't all that alarming when we're in the play all the time, but he can't afford to give them out when he's full back. Terry Danaher to Hamilton. Hamilton very quick across to Francis. Francis under pressure. Elshaw gets it back nicely to Hamilton, who left foots a grubber downfield. Neil Cordy. Awkward one. Tackle. Picked up by Izzard, looking very good. Turns onto his left foot, goes for the run. Back it comes, and the left foot snap is not. It is a good one. Thompson. Mark Thompson with his left foot rams it through, and once again Alan Izzard in the thick of the play up there in the forward line has been a dominant player.
And so has Bomber Thompson been a good player. He's also played in the back pocket in this opening quarter for the Bombers. He's picked up Stevie Wright on occasions, but now he's running on the ball. And we've seen him play several roles as an on-the-ball player, a tagger, and also an attacker.
Who's your money on, KB? It's a great start, isn't it?
Well, I tipped Essendon on the Thursday night football show.
Yeah, that doesn't count for much. You say anything on there, don't you?
No, I don't. No, I felt before the game that Essendon would win. I think the Sun might have had my tips wrong and had me in for the Swans, but I've tipped Essendon all along.
34 plays 32. The Swans in front. And looking for the last goal of the quarter. Hawk backwards to Byrne. On his wrong boot. How will it bounce? Thrip. Now Mitchell. Holding the ball. Ruthless umpire Robinson. And the free kick goes to Johnston at centre half back for the Bombers. We're at the 31-minute mark. Must be seconds away from the siren. Nobby Clark, the scout, threw it to himself virtually. Play on. Izzard and Salmon late on the scene. Carter takes it away. Burst off half-back. Right, Healy. Close checking, though, is the order of the day. Kick is wide. And I'd say we've seen the last score for the quarter because we're beyond the 31-minute mark and surely the siren must go.
What an exciting first quarter it's been. Simon Madden gets yet another one down. Elshaw down towards centre wing. Over the back, Cunningham's got the wonderful opportunity. The ball bounces superbly for him. Bad luck, Cunningham. And he kicked it through too. What bad luck it was.
I tipped this.
You did. By what?